Midnight Sun sends in $6.99 Canadian, says, hello, everyone. Do you think Captain Marvel's sequel would have done better had they used, the Secret Invasion storyline and just called it Captain Marvel 2? No.
Yeah, Mr. Chato, what say you? Should this movie have done better if it wasn't the Marvels, but Captain Marvel 2 and featured Secret Invasion instead of wasting that on Disney Plus? Remember, Captain Marvel did set up Secret Invasion, didn't it?
That's an intriguing idea. Obviously, if they fixed the problems of the Captain Marvel movie, as in, I mean, its basic premise was fine, and there were there were promises made at the very end with regards to helping the which ones were that they were going to get their own condos, the Kree, right? Or was it the Krill or the
Skrull?
The Skrulls.
Don't care.
Yeah, actually, that's intriguing. If they had wrapped that all up into one big package and got that into just one movie, because Secret Invasion did not deserve 6 episodes or whatever horrific number of episodes it had. I think it would have made a better movie. Yeah, I agree.
Script, what say you?
Yes, I think sticking with a Captain Marvel 2 might have had an angle to it. But that's just on the marketing aspect of it. It maybe may have gotten a slightly bigger bump at the box office, but not enough, because again, it's all down to the content of it.
Sixth, before we move on to culture, of course, with Secret Invasion on Disney Plus, we got a new super duper powerful woman enemy, didn't we? With all the combined powers of all the heroes and villains in the entire Marvel universe. So everyone just step aside. Emilia Clarke is here to save or ruin the day, depending on what she fancies. Was that the right move, or should that have been in Captain Marvel 2? What say you, Six?
I don't think that the storyline would have necessarily made a difference. The trailers for the Marvels were not particularly flashy. The special effects were poor, and you can't really hide that in a trailer. And like what Script said, I think that there would have maybe been some recognition to the fact that, oh yeah, I remember Captain Marvel, so let's go see Captain Marvel 2. I don't think people knew who the Marvels were. And so maybe the fact that they would have attached it to a previous Marvel movie that did well in the box office would have given some people more reason to go see it.
So I'm going to say something heretical. Do you think it would have worked better if she had more male support characters?
No.
Yes.
That's my
thought. Six seems to think so, but
people who go to see superhero movies, they want to see the male superheroes on screen. It's not that they don't want to see women, but it's a majority male superheroes that they want to see. That's who they're used to seeing.
It's also the majority of the audience.
I was just going to say, I don't think that matters so much as it was people don't like Brie Larson. That's what I think the problem is, because Wonder Woman made money just fine. I think if you had made a Miss Marvel movie and people actually saw the show, people would go see it because she's a likable person. She's a likable character. I think what turned people away from this movie was they don't like Brie Larson. They don't give a shit about Monica Rambeau, and nobody saw Miss Marvel. So you have those 3 things on top of the other things. I think a Captain Marvel 2 sequel was bound to fail no matter what, because the first movie was propped up on false pretenses. I guarantee you and we all have said it, so it's not like I'm saying anybody hasn't said before. If Captain Marvel had been released before or a few years after Endgame, nobody would have went to see it. Especially if you'd have put it out before, because people had been like, why is she getting a movie before Black Widow? Because we all were saying that then. But at that point, Black Widow's dead, so nobody gave a shit, and then we got a movie after the fact.
Yeah, but it is what it is when it is, and that's just speculation.
I just think the 2 main problems are you have a character that's unlikable because the actress is unlikable, and the only reason people went to see the first one was because it was sandwiched in between 2 of the biggest movies of all time. Period. That's why.
I want to add to that, but before that, culture. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I think that the superhero genre has always been dominated by a male audience. I think adding dudes into it would have been good. I think using the Secret Invasion storyline instead of wasting it on Disney Plus would have been a better choice. I agree largely with what everybody said here, although I would say I'm more in line with what Six said. I think that had you shown us more of the familiar superheroes and not the unknown ones like Tom referenced, I think you would have had a much better response to the film. The biggest problem here is it went from Captain Marvel 2 to the Marvels, and you weren't going to bring more audience to it with that. You needed something with more teeth and more breadth, and you needed not to try to turn this into the Barbie movie, which is I think ultimately what they tried to do.
Well, later they did it. They tried to do it later, I think, in post, once they saw maybe the success of
the 6 weeks of reshoots probably helped with that too. So
I mean, if you'd have put
to myself when I did my presentation, I said they should market it like a Hillary Duff movie, and they heard me.
Jesus.
And it's because of me. I apologize.
Well, thank you for making sure it tanked. I appreciate that. Lots of people.
Well, I predicted they were going to try and copy Barbie, which they kind of did. And I guess Six, I'd agree with you if it was like, okay, maybe Thor or some other bigger character that people actually give a shit about. But that's the problem, is most of them are dead now. Like, that's the problem we have.
Well, I don't think that it necessarily would have done well if they had just slapped some men on screen.
Right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm talking like if they had some male superheroes, and also as far as Wonder Woman, I mean, I grew up with Wonder Woman. I never fucking heard of Captain Marvel until, they put the movie into production because I didn't read comics.
Yeah.
Well,
most people who read comics also didn't hear about Captain Marvel.
Especially this version of Captain Marvel.
And Wonder Woman was a very big title in the DC comic book universe.
Well, no, I'm just using that as an example, is you can make a female superhero work on her own, right? You don't have to have male backup. But I agree also that unless you slap Spider-Man or Thor or whoever you can get that's still alive that anybody gives a shit about, Hawkeye maybe, into this movie, nobody's going to care. And I still don't even know if that would have been enough. I just think
my favorite. Nothing can beat Hawkeye.
Oh, that's Andre's favorite too. Wow. He's been rooting for him to die since Avengers.
A mechanical wing flying suit.
Are you thinking of Falcon?
Oh,
Falcon.
Sorry, I meant Falcon. Sorry, Hawkeye.
At least you got the white guy mixed up with the black guy, and not too.
Sorry. And then there's Hawkman, who became a black man.
Yes. See, now you're getting it. Now you're getting it.
Listen, all these superheroes look alike. Oops.
You were doing so well until then.
Look, it's funny. They had a runaway hit in the first Wonder Woman film. Now we're talking DC because I want to just talk about women superheroes. That was a runaway hit. They had a potential to do bang up business with the second one, but 1984 was such a disappointment narratively. Yeah, and all of that. And again, I mean, there were a lot of questionable stories put together in that film.
Although Pedro was good.
It really made it hard. You and 8 people.
Yeah, but it doesn't help when he's the best thing about the movie, then it doesn't help. I mean, that's bad when when the best thing you can say about the movie is, well, Pedro Pascal was good in it. Yeah, because everything else was awful. Because that was the problem with Wonder Woman 84.
Well, I'll give him credit. I'll stick up for Paul a little bit here. Look, I hate Pedro Pascal. Can't fucking stand him.
Yeah.
But I'll be damned if there isn't anything I haven't seen him in that, even if the movie or the show is fucking horrendous, he is still a watchable, charismatic actor. He can act, right? Yeah. In fact, he was hilarious and lovable in that Nick Cage movie. But I know that's not the real him. See, that's the difference. We've seen the real him on that stupid little interview thing where he's...
Oh my gosh, he is an intolerable
cringe.
Douche.
But,
oh, really?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it was a little where they... That's what I'm saying. He can be funny if you... But I know that's a separation.
Why do you hate him?
Oh, because he's so sucked into the woke fucking culture, and he got away with shit that Gina couldn't. He did the exact same shit, only worse, and nobody said a goddamned word to him.
That's not his fault, is it?
No, but the fact that he didn't stick up for her is a problem.
It only makes him, yeah. But anyway, just to move us on from
on top
this
of other
topic,
things, but
I
yeah.
just want to round out. Tom, I just want to add something, because so many
Sure.
like to say that Captain Marvel did amazing because it was wedged in between the two biggest MCU movies. Yeah, well, so was Ant-Man Part 2. The difference with that many keep forgetting. And Avengers Infinity War led with an Captain Marvel and Stinger. That was the big thing. That the movie ended with a direct Captain Marvel tease, promising everyone she's going to come and save the day. And then we got a really unlikable hero. And Captain Marvel wasn't unlikable because of Brie Larson. No, 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 no. The character herself was unlikable in the way that she was created and manifested on screen. In fact, that's why Brie Larson was cast, because they needed someone unlikable. I mean, this is literally in that book, the Rise and Reign of the MCU, right where they go through the story. And what is so unbelievable to me is that even the author of the book didn't really realize that, well, we're actually talking about making a villain here, because she relays a conversation between Kevin Feige and Kelly Sue DeConnick. You know, Tom, play the clip here. I'm sure we have it very, very close by.
You make me do it when it's like way off base.
Yeah,
okay.
okay. Anyway, yeah, you know the one. So see if you can find it. Anyway,
I have it here somewhere.
You all know the woman, because she's the one who wrote the storyline that the movie was based upon.
Yeah, this
And
one.
if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Problem solved.
That did not age well.
That is the author of the Captain Marvel run that was the basis for the movie that they did. And they were having conversations with her. So Kevin Feige, he went and he asked her, well, what's the difference between this character and say, for instance, Captain Marvel, both of whom will fight against superior odds and everything. And then she basically said, these are not her exact words, but she said something along the lines of, well, Captain Marvel is this really angry, man-hating bitch with a giant chip on her shoulder. Now, she didn't use those exact words. What she said, and these are her exact words, that she's filled with piss and vinegar. And that's a quote. That's how she described Captain Marvel, filled with piss and vinegar. So a really unlikable, bitter, resentful character. That is how the character is conceived. She's meant to be unlikable. And so they found Brie Larson to bring out those unlikable qualities of her. And then they were surprised when the audience didn't like her. The big problem here is that Captain Marvel is fundamentally unlikable. The first movie had scored more than $1 billion, and I think a big part of that isn't just that it was wedged between two Avengers movies, but because the first of those Avengers movies explicitly promised, you know, the second Avengers movie, that's not going to make any sense unless you see Captain Marvel first. This promise was made to every single person on the face of the earth who saw the Avengers Infinity War. That's why Captain Marvel did so amazingly well. And most people didn't enjoy that movie very much. They needed to take that seriously. And we saw that again with WandaVision, and then with Miss Marvel. Like, the feedback from that, I mean, fine, WandaVision, it did okay for its time, but what was the word of mouth in the aftermath? How much did people respond to the Rambo character stuff in it? The response really wasn't all that great. The problem here is that there was no universe in which they really could build upon a Captain Marvel character, because they had fundamentally made her unlikable, and she was never accepted by either her fellow cast, the filmmakers, anything. So could they have done better with the Captain Marvel 2 than the Marvels and Secret Invasion? Yeah, probably they would have been slightly better off. I think it would still have been a flop. I think it still would have been the lowest grossing movie in the MCU, but at the very least, it would have been contained to that one movie rather than to pollute the MCU with another series that everyone hates. And that's what it did. So, yeah.
Well, it's about to do it again under the Spotlight brand. So welcome to Echo, kids.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Which is a mandatory viewing for Daredevil, because Echo will show up in Daredevil as well. And also, Daredevil will probably be released under the Marvel Spotlight brand, which is a shitty name for what should have been called Marvel Knights.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 AM Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.